Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of NextView podcast. I am your host, Tia Moore, real estate agent with the NextView Home Professionals team at Keller Williams Integrity First. I have an awesome show planned. I have a guest in the studio. His name is Bronson Hurula, and he came to help teach us about a great product called Homebot. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you. And thank you for having me on the show.
Thank
Very
you for
excited
being here.
to be here. And Homebot is definitely something that I'm passionate about. So it's a good topic that I'm very excited to share.
I posted that you would be here, and I heard a couple people say, ooh, I really can't wait until this episode.
That's fair enough.
Carmen
well,
said that.
Promise to not disappoint.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and in terms of how you tell people what you do. What's your job?
So, hi, my name is Bronson. So I work in marketing at Nova Home Loans with the Oliver Whalen team, which are loan officers that help with residential mortgages.
Okay.
And so what I do specifically is it's a little bit of business development. And so a lot of people don't realize that real estate agents and loan officers are essentially small business owners. They run their own small business, and it's not just a matter of getting licensed and going forward, but it's that you have to grow in a lot of different directions all simultaneously. Yep. And so I really help keep the focus on that, but also just get the word out there. So, they're busy people and they can't be everywhere at all at once. So when the opportunity arises, I'm here to fill in, whether that's public speaking, attending meetings, or even teaching classes.
Oh, very cool. What kind of classes do you teach?
I teach a multitude. One of my personal passions is video marketing. Exhibit A, which is why I like being here. I just think that video marketing is probably one of the most underutilized but most important forms of communication. Yeah. Human-to-human interaction is 60% body language. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands a lot, and so that is evidenced. And then 30% is tone of voice and inflection. So like how I say the things I say is incredibly important in communicating information. Mm-hmm. And that last 10% is actually what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So in a text or an email, 90% of communication is lost, which is why it feels differently. And so picking up the phone is important, but equally, face-to-face interaction, or if you can't do that, video marketing is just stellar for that reason alone. So
have you done a extensive studying with, what is it called, neurolinguistics? Did I get that right?
I've dabbled with it, really ran across it in college. And so then I just kind of did my own, bought a book here or there. But honestly, a lot of, if you do any sort of research into marketing current day, a lot of it is based on video marketing. Yep. And so if we talk about even just general communication, mass communication, the amount of people that are willing to watch a video because of the amount of information they're going to gain is so much more than if you and I took a transcript of this meeting today and printed it. Who's going to read it?
Nobody.
Exactly. And for good reason.
I have other things to do. Well, and that's why I think podcasts are so popular, because while we love watching videos, I know sometimes I get lost in them. Especially if you're watching YouTube, they just go to the next one, go to the next one. And if you have a lot of interest, it goes to like 5,000 different interests. Anyway, but I think that's one reason podcasts are popular, because if you can't be watching a video, like if you're driving or you're working out, then at least you can listen to an episode and get information that you want, whether it's something that you want to learn or whether it's something that you like, you wanted to make you laugh.
Oh, entirely. And so, people like listening or watching today, kudos for taking the time to educate yourself on those kinds of things. Yeah. I know my mom, when she drives, she lives in Albuquerque, and she just listens to languages, and she's now fluent in Italian. And
are you serious?
That was, from childhood. It's taken her years, but that's what she chooses to use with her drive, and, I'm impressed.
I'm impressed too. Yeah. I like that. Mm-hmm. Well, so tell us a little bit about, I know you said a lot of people do video or you teach people how to video market, but a lot of people are underutilizing the tool.
Correct.
What's been some of the feedback you've gotten from people as to why they're reluctant to use video? Is it all vanity?
Number one reason is I don't like how I look on camera. I don't know how I sound on camera. I will say that I went through that exact same metamorphosis of just having to get over it. Yeah. ever since I was a small child. I've always been a public speaker and just not afraid to stand up in front of people. Video intimidated me because I don't know what I'm going to say before I say it, so I didn't want to be locked in on, like this being the video. And I really felt that I had to be a different person on camera. And really, once I got over that and I understood that I'm allowed to be myself, that was the number one thing that really helped, trying to just go over it. And so that's definitely what I hear from others.
I could definitely see how people would be worried about what they would say, or because they're not sure how they'll come across. I can tell you from personal experience, I don't have much of a filter. I say what I'm going to say. It's the delivery that I'm really good at. So it's like, I'm going to say it no matter what, but how can I deliver it to where my point gets across the way I intend it to?
Completely. That's a Winston Churchill quote. That's the definition of tact, is being able to disagree with somebody while they feel like you've agreed with them.
Yes. It's actually pretty funny too when that happens. But anywho, well, we invited you on because we wanted to talk about Homebot.
Yes.
So for those of you guys who are watching, and if you're listening to the audio version later, our team loves it. We've been utilizing it for some of we send it to all of our past clients, and we load them in there so they can keep track of their home value. They can keep track of if it's time to refinance. Can you tell us a little bit about Homebot from your perspective, other than like my jumbled up explanation of what it is?
Yes, entirely. And so the main reason that I'm passionate about Homebot is because from my perspective, it really plugs a hole that was previously in the industry. And what I mean by that is that owning a home is a lot of people's largest financial investment. And when it comes down to being educated on your largest financial investment, just the amount of misinformation or no information involved is astounding. And especially when you look at the statistics of, 83% of people who retire, their home is their vast majority of their retirement, that's their portfolio.
Yeah.
And so if you know that going in, and you know that this is essentially, in a nutshell, here's what I bring to the table when it comes time for me to, move on to the next phase of my life, to be misinformed or not informed at all is incredible.
Yeah.
And so what Homebot did is, I think one of the biggest things about Homebot is that you can tell it's been designed by people in the industry.
Yes.
Because you and I are plugged in. You and I know the market and what's happening and what home values are doing.
Yeah.
And we're educated because it's the nature of our industry. That's what we're here to do. But for the average homeowner, they're not plugged in like that. And so what Homebot does is it takes information from huge nationwide resources like I think it's Black Knight and CoreLogic, and they take all of this huge amount of information that's in the world, and they really dial it into a very user-friendly digest that informs a homeowner, just like you were mentioning, like what the current value of their home is, what that means based on when they bought it, and so on and so forth. And it really just gives them options and information, truly important information to have. And the most important thing is that it updates it monthly, so that it's not just this one report that you get and now you're done. It allows you to stay in the loop. And if I were to compare it to another industry, I would compare it to credit scores, or another thing of misinformation people don't know. And Credit Karma stole the show by saying, hey, you can plug in and you can check, and that's incredible. That's the amount of information. So if I were to compare the two technologies, I would say that Homebot is the quote-unquote Credit Karma of
that's a great comparison. So a lot of people don't think like that. They think, well, I'm not looking to sell my house, so I don't need to know what the value is, or I'm going to live here forever, so I don't need to know what the value is. So I always tell people it's important to know, because it gives you an idea of what the trends are. If you plan to sell your home in a year and things are trending down, then maybe you need to sell right now. If you are planning to sell your homes and you're at the peak of the market, maybe you want to sell your home now versus the year, because it'll save you money or make you money one way or the other. That's one of the advantages. But before I ask you about some others, when people are looking at Homebot and they're seeing the estimated values, the first thing that most people will say is, well, I can go on Zillow. So what are some of the advantages, in your opinion, from using Homebot versus using Zillow?
One of the biggest and best is that when we talk about Zestimates and the home value estimates that Zillow provides, they're based off of a huge equation of just, other homes in the area, what they've sold for, so on and so forth. So if you're looking for a rough ballpark figure, sure, that's why Zillow exists and that's why people use it.
Yeah.
The thing that Homebot does that takes that to the next level is not only does it use, in my personal opinion, it's a better equation, and the values that I've seen are more accurate. But also, it allows you to reach out to your agent and say, hey, is this number correct? Where if you were to click a button, anything like that on Zillow, you're going to get put in touch with 5 strangers that are like instantly calling you. And
they
so
don't
on
know
and so
that.
Forth. That's another good thing to know. Homebot keeps it within the family. They've worked with you. They trust you as an expert.
Yeah.
So they should reach out to you and say, hey, Homebot's telling me my home is worth $300,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then you as a professional are able to go in and give them a, here's what I evaluate based on today's market conditions. And the most valuable part of that tool is that you can actually go in and you can update that in Homebot and say, as a real estate professional, here's what I value the home at. And they'll continue giving you monthly updates based on that new information.
Yep.
And it's the same thing on the lender side. Like if you have the, documentation for your mortgage and here's what it is, Homebot allows you to completely correct it and make sure that line by line it's correct, so that when you are getting those monthly updates, they're personalized and they're exactly the information that you would need month to month.
Yeah. Hi, Samantha. She's watching. Well, the thing that I also, and I told people about to watch, or I told people to look out for when we record today, was determining how much they could get for their home if they use it as a vacation property, aka like an Airbnb, VRBO, that sort of thing. Can you tell us what feature within Homebot allows them to do that?
Yes, it's about 3/4 of the way down the page of your user digest. So when you receive it, the first thing that it talks about is just your current home, your standing, your equity position, so on and so forth. And when you go down further, there is a spot that says, if you were to use this as a vacation rental, and the example given in Homebot is Airbnb, and it actually gives you specific information based on Airbnb's quotas and data in your area. So it's specific to you, not only like as your house, but also, are there other homes in the area? Is there a need for more Airbnbs in that area?
Yeah.
And what are people able to charge around you? And so one of my favorite things on there is there's actually a little slider bar, because when it's asking you about your home, it asks you, well, how nice is your home? But then the slider is listed basic to fancy. And I really like it, because you do get to kind of judge and say, what quality of Airbnb am I providing? Because that will, of course, change how much you can charge for.
That's true. Yeah. I love that. And because of sometimes people do want to consider using their home as an Airbnb, but they're like, I don't even know where to start. And by the time they start, they're over it already. Yep. So this at least gives them a jump start on it. But an interesting story about that, I had a client that they purchased a second property, and they were leaning towards selling it, but they weren't sure if they were going to Airbnb it. And they started using the Homebot tool to get an idea of what they could get for it on Airbnb. And that was that helped them determine what direction they should go in. So for them, they were like, well, we could do either and we'll do great. Where are we going to get the most money from? And that's where they weighed it. But I thought, wow, that's a great tool, because one, they don't have to feel like, I love to hear from all of my clients all the time. People call me for everything from, hey, do you have the home warranty info? I lost it, to, can you give me an update on my house, or I want to sell my house, or whatever the case might be. But if they choose to, they can at least look at the information on their own time without having to wait for a call back, without having to wait for the information, without me having to come over and look at the house, all of those different things. So they just have that freedom to be able to look at the information themselves.
It's incredibly interactive, correct?
Yeah. So we like Homebot. Our team absolutely loves it. I can't remember though, does Homebot, I think it does. Homebot does give them the estimated rental amount as well, if they wanted to use it as a long-term rental.
It will. It's going to be a calculator that's in there. So it's not going to be as set up as the Airbnb one, because of course they can just quote it off of the Airbnb.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a portion that's in there, because going back to the misinformation of just homeowners not having enough information on their particular property that they own, there are homeowners that see the amount of equity that they've gained in their home just because the market has gone up, so on and so forth, and they've actually taken cash out and then purchased a second home specifically as a rental.
Yes.
And what they're doing is they're leveraging the equity in their home to now provide another form of income for them and their household.
Yep.
And that's incredible. So yeah, Homebot does have that calculator as well, and it's definitely worth something that's worth looking into.
Yeah, and so you guys, I want to come back to that to make sure you understand. So there is a feature within Homebot that allows you to, it'll say, can I afford a second home? And if you click yes on it, It'll ask you some additional information to get an idea of if you can afford a second home. So what people are doing is they're taking the equity out of their home, which should be another episode, take the equity out of their home and they're purchasing an investment home. So they're purchasing an investment property to use as a rental or to use as an Airbnb maybe, or whatever it is that they're looking for a second home for. Sometimes they're looking to do it so they can purchase a vacation home for themselves to be able to go to wherever they frequent. Maybe you want to buy a cabin up north or Cancun in a condo. I want a condo in Cancun right now. So anyway, so different things like that. So that's what you were referencing, correct?
Completely, yes.
Okay, cool. And then there's also a refinance feature in there if they're interested in refinancing after they're looking at, because they have a full snapshot of the market, they can make a decision on, I want to get some information. Maybe it's time for me to refinance, right?
Entirely. And so there is a video that I'll send you. It's just a little 90-second clip that kind of explains Homebot in a nutshell, and it does a great job of explaining it. But one of the statistics in there is that American homeowners year over year leave over $100 billion on the table when it comes to their home value. And what they mean by that is if you purchased your home in 2015, and let's say you needed a specific program or, like whatever the loan situation was when you purchased it, because your home value has gone up, that means that your equity position has changed. And there might be different options available. So just because you weren't able to save money at the time of purchase doesn't mean that you're not able to save money later down the road. And so if you don't look into that, you might be paying, $100 more than you need to.
That
and you
is
just don't
so
know.
true. And so a big example of that is, let's say you got an FHA loan and you utilized like a down payment assistance program 5 years ago maybe, and you're still paying a high mortgage insurance premium. Maybe you can now refinance to a conventional and you might be able to reduce that amount some and reduce your payment, perhaps. Right? So if you guys are interested in Homebot, just leave a note in the comments and I'll make sure we get that out to you. We'll get it out to you so you can I can just text it, or if you know my cell phone number, just send me a text. I'll give it later. What other features are you really excited about with Homebot?
So one of the other big things of Homebot is everything that you and I have discussed so far is just for people that are currently homeowners. And that's because, again, like you've worked with somebody who have a home and you want to keep them educated. But there's still a great amount of people out there that don't currently own a home. We just talked about the situation in which they might want to look into a second property or vacation. And so Homebot actually has a specific portion for people that are looking to buy.
Yes.
And I love it. I'm going to go into it a little bit more because one of the biggest things about the Homebot buyer section that I love is that, again, it keeps them in touch with you. I've been in the industry for 4 or 5 years now, and I know that one of the biggest things is that when a person who's just a normal individual, an average Joe, goes onto the internet and starts looking at homes, they're going to be inundated with sales calls and this and that and the other of people trying to contact them saying, hey, you went to such and such site and now, like I'm going to call you every day and those kinds of things. And that's not always something that you want. You wanted to just do some simple searching on a website and now you feel like you can't. You don't feel safe in your own home just because of that. So what Homebot does is it provides you a world of information to be able to search and to look into that. But again, because it's connected with you, they're only talking to their, trusted professional.
Correct.
As it should be. And so the Homebot buyer side, what it does is it breaks down, and I'm going to use Phoenix as an example because that's where we are, but of course it's, all over. And so what it does is it breaks down the valley in zip codes, and it gives each zip code its rating of it's 1 to 100, 50 being neutral, and is it more of a buyer's market and more of a seller's market? And it rates that zip code by zip code. So when we're talking about, again, being an informed homeowner or becoming an informed homeowner, to be able to look and say, not only do I want to live around, this school district or I want to live closer to work, but also to be able to make an informed decision saying, well, actually, I like these 2 houses, but this one I might be able to get a better deal on just because of the area around it. That's what making an informed decision is.
Absolutely. And just so you guys know, Homebot is a great tool for that. And your favorite realtors at the NextView Home Professional team can also assist you with that. But it's always good for you to have that information going in. It just makes you feel more confident about making a decision.
Oh, completely.
Whether yes or no.
Yes.
Right?
So then take it further. They click on a zip code because they like that area, and then it's going to give them more of a breakdown of the average days on market of that particular zip code. It gives them an idea of how long it, roughly will take to move into that area and to kind of like do those deals, which again, you're a real estate professional, and you are going to be able to give them all of that information. But it's just nice. I feel more comfortable just having that in front of me and being able to just kind of see it.
We've had a lot of buyers tell us that they like it most before they start going out to look at homes. So, for example, let's say they have a lease that expires 7-8 months from now, but they know they want to purchase next year. It allows them to monitor the zip codes that they're most interested in so that they can make the best decision possible. I mean, very often people will call us and they'll say, well, my lease isn't up for another 3 months. And they'll say, but this is a deal I can't pass up, so I'll make this work. We'll do both. Like, we'll pay this off, or we'll do this, or we'll just transition slowly. We want to fix up the house before we move in anyway. So it gives them the time. But Homebot allows them to keep track of that and to get a lot more detailed information than what they would actually get from a Zillow or a Trulia and maybe even a Redfin. So I love the tool.
That, and one of the other things that I'm sure you run into at being a realtor is you are a wealth of knowledge. You know so much, and you have so much to be able to communicate and educate on. But me as a homeowner, I might not know what questions I'd like to ask.
Yeah.
And so messing around with that and just kind of doing your own research on your side really helps you, kind of establish those questions.
Yeah.
Of like you'll see a button on the side that says, well, did you want to look at new builds? And you've never asked yourself that before.
Yeah.
And now they have something to ask you and get more informed on just because they've taken the time to do their own little bit of research. And it just kind of, it opens up a lot of possibilities because, again, you and I are plugged in. We know all of those questions, but if they don't, it gives them a really good opportunity to figure out if that's something they'd like to consider.
Absolutely. I love it. So what else would you say is a benefit of using Homebot for the average consumer?
So I would say the biggest thing that I love about Homebot across the board is that it's a monthly digest and that you can use that particularly because it's always going to come in and have new information. So the biggest thing that I would like to communicate or for anybody watching or listening to get from this is make sure that you've updated it. Reach out, make sure that the home value is correct, make sure that all the loan information is correct, because you're going to continue getting it monthly.
Yeah.
So it's invaluable to just make sure that everything is going to be correct when it comes to you. One last feature about Homebot that we didn't cover because it's just a smaller portion, it's shareable. I mean, you have the account set up, and of course you can set people up.
Yeah.
But if you have coworkers, you have loved ones, people that are homeowners, and you think that you are educated, so why wouldn't they be? There's actually a share button. You can send it to them, and it'll get them signed up as well. So feel free to share it with others.
Now, here's my question to you, since you mentioned that. Can people just go to homebot.com and sign up and start using it?
So it's going to be something that's provided by your real estate professional. Yep. So if you're listening to this, or maybe you share this video with somebody that hasn't met you before, reach out. You're gonna say you're gonna say your cell phone number at the end. Reach out and get connected, because not only is Homebot's not just, you don't just go to homebot.com and sign up. You sign up through a trusted professional. Yeah. And I trust you. Yep. Good.
Thank you. No, so you guys, the reason I asked that question is just so everybody understands, because the first thing people would do is just be like, oh, well, I'm going to go get this on my own. I don't have to reach out. Yeah. So you guys, we do have a paid account. So if you are interested in signing up with Homebot and tracking any of the features that we've discussed today, then reach out to me. I'm happy to share that link with you. It will not cost you a fee at all. You just have to say hi to me. I don't know if you feel comfortable saying that hi, but I think so. If you want my link,
that's a high price.
I'm kidding. If you guys want the link, but like I said, if you just put the link in, if you just put that you want it in the comments, I'm happy to send it over to you. It's funny though. I've actually had this conversation with people at parties, at baby showers, and I've shown them how the app works. They like it. They really do like it.
No, I have to say, I signed my parents up on it, and they were just blown away, and now they're really geeky about it. And they just text me, and they're just once a month, I know I'm going to talk to my parents about what happened on the digest.
That's so funny. I love it. Well, I'm going to wrap up soon. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
Number one, communication. Make sure that it's up to date. Make sure it's there. But if you liked watching and if you liked learning from us here today, please share it. Because again, I've experienced the exact same thing. As an industry professional that talks to people that are not industry related, it's an amazing source of information. And if you like it, I'm sure your friends and family will as well. And just make sure that they're as informed as you are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the NextView podcast today. As you know, we're with you every single week at 1 p.m. on Thursdays. So definitely tune in next week. We're going to have a very fun guest on that's going to be talking to us about beauty secrets.
What?
We're going to be talking Botox and, all things that keep you wrinkle-free.
I can see why you didn't ask me to come in about the beauty secrets conversation.
No. Now, one of the things we like to do is we like to, we have a lot of clients that own businesses and things like that. So we love to highlight them and support their businesses as well because they support us. So, and our friends too,
of course,
which they support our businesses as well. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much to our sponsors that help us bring a fantastic podcast to you every single week. I want to thank the Oliver Wayland team for being a fantastic partner in business and also being a great sponsor for this podcast. Without them, we would not be able to deliver such high quality service to our clients. So if you guys are looking to get a new mortgage loan, if you are looking to refinance your existing one, or even if you just have questions, give the Oliver Wayland team a call. They will take care of you. They were on the podcast 2 weeks ago and they mentioned to you sometimes people call them just to have them do a comparison with another lender that they might be thinking of going with. They're the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Carmen, Chris, they're just such a wonderful team. Reach out to them for all of your mortgage needs. And a special thanks to Yvonne Hunter with Platinum Home Warranty. Platinum Home Warranty is our preferred home warranty company for many reasons. One, they're local. And two, they just have a great product of services. They're one of the only home warranty companies out there that actually will still put you up in a hotel if your air conditioning has gone out in the summertime. How crazy is that, right? So for a $75 or $65 service call fee, and it's 120 degrees in the summer and your AC goes out, you'll be thanking me for recommending you to Yvonne. All right. So thanks, Yvonne, for being a great sponsor and a great partner in our business. And our preferred title company is Security Title. We use Jeremy Eaton, and our escrow officer is Elva Palmer. We love working with them. Our clients continue to rave about them whenever they're going through a closing on a purchase or a sale, and that's what we really want. We want to make sure we're working with a title company that delivers great service to our clients because we're going to deliver great service on our end, so we want it to be a smooth transaction from beginning to end. So thank you so much to Jeremy and Elva and Kristen over at Security Title. All right, you guys, that is it. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.